Mr. President, I rise today to honor this weekend's passing of my friend Elouise Cobell. She was an extraordinary Montanan American and an American Indian. I'm proud to have nominated her for the Congressional Gold Medal. As a role model for every American child, she deserves that highest honor. Elouise Pepion Cobell was a star, truly a guiding light that will always lead the way for all Americans who fight for justice and fairness. Elouise's tireless leadership set this nation on a new course. And what she accomplished reminds us that any person in any part of this country has the power to stand up and make right a wrong, no matter how difficult that it may be. My wife Charla and I, thoughts and prayers are with Elouise's husband Alvin, her son Turk, and her entire family. We join the Blackfeet Nation and all Montanans in mourning, honoring, and celebrating the life of this extraordinary Montanan. Future generations will learn about Elouise Cobell's legacy, and they will be inspired to follow her lead. She will always be remembered as an American hero. I have many memories of Elouise. I first met her when I was a state senator. I knew what she was working on, but I never imagined she'd get as far as she did. Not many people in this world have the determination that Elouise had. From those early days until just a few weeks ago, I talked to her numerous times. She had been fighting the federal government in court for a decade and wouldn't take no for an answer. She knew what she wanted, and she wanted it yesterday. After I finally convinced her that I wanted to help, our relationship changed. We became friends working together on a common goal, a settlement that was fair and balanced. And believe me, as my friend, she wasn't afraid to call me and tell me what she thought and how to get things done. But I will never forget talking to her on the afternoon of November 19, 2010. The Senate had just approved the Cobell settlement. Our bill paved the way to send her settlement to President Obama for his signature. She knew it would mark the end of a historic battle. I called to make sure that she knew the good news. That tougher-than-nails woman was sitting in her home in Browning, Montana, where the fierce Montana winds had dropped the temperature to 17 below zero. 30 years of determination flowed through the tears in her eyes. She was happy, she was relieved, and she was thankful. It was in 1996 that she took a deep breath, gritted her teeth, and filed a historic lawsuit seeking justice on behalf of herself and 500,000 individual American Indians. At that time, all she wanted was an accounting for what they were owed. Her decision changed her life and the lives of every American Indian for generations to come. Her 15-year court battle resulted in the largest settlement with the government in American history. Throughout the years, through painful criticism and generous support, she relentlessly led the charge against government mismanagement. She was unyielding in her pursuit of justice for one of this nation's most vulnerable populations. After battling the federal government for nearly 30 years, President Obama signed into law the $3.4 billion settlement of the lawsuit that Congress had approved earlier that year. At the signing ceremony, President Obama said, and I quote, "It's finally time to make things right." After all, the government had mismanaged the lands in question for 123 years. Above everything else, history will remember Elouise Cobell for bringing justice to her community. She demonstrated perhaps the greatest strength and asset in Indian country, kinship. As the years wore on, she fought harder for her family, community. When Montana elected me to the United States Senate, Elouise wasn't far behind me in Washington. She told me that many of the members she represented were elderly. The longer that this case was to drag on, the fewer of them would see justice that they deserved. That is why I was disappointed earlier this month when a Washington court allowed several appeals of this case to move forward. For many reasons over the years, Elouise Cobell earned recognition as a respected leader and role model. She walked in two worlds. Born on the Blackfeet Reservation on November 5, 1945, she was one of 8 children. She was a great-granddaughter of Mountain Chief, one of the legendary leaders of the Blackfeet Nation. She and her husband operated a cattle ranch, and she founded that first land trust in Indian country. For 13 years, she served as co-chair of the Native American Bank and as a trustee for the National Museum of American Indian. She served as a trustee for the Nature Conservancy of Montana. She was executive director of the Native American Community Development Corporation. In 2004, the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development bestowed upon her the J. Silverheels Achievement Award. Elouise remained true to her local community and to her cultural identity. but she also achieved success at the highest levels of non-Indian society. Elouise graduated from the Great Falls Business College and attended Montana State University, where she received an honorary doctorate. In 2011, Dartmouth College awarded her an honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. The president of Dartmouth told her, "You have fought David and Goliath and won." Her story of courage is an inspiration to Native people and indeed all Americans. She demonstrated that our legal system is strong enough to protect even the most vulnerable. And this nation, and the most powerful on earth, keeps the promises that we make. She was a remarkable woman. She will be missed dearly by all who knew her. I want to thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.